time everyone, this is Kurjin's channel. Now we are back to our new episode of 2 General Champions and Comparison, featured by Wild League of Legends versus the Mobile Legends Vanguard. But before that, please like and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell icon so you will be notified for our new next episode video. Let's do this!
Kha'Zix is a melee assassin who utilizes quick over the course of the match, upgrading his already potent abilities with new features. Whenever Kha'Zix learns a new rank of his ultimate, he can evolve himself, adding a unique effect to any of his 4 active abilities. Note that because you can only rank up your ultimate 3 times per game, you can only evolve his Unseen Threat. Anytime Kha'Zix becomes unseen by his opponents, he gains a buff called Unseen Threat that lasts until he attacks an enemy champion. If Kha'Zix attacks an enemy champion while wearing this buff, he deals bonus damage, slows his target, and consumes the buff. Taste Their Fear damages target enemy on activation. However, if the target has... Kha'Zix may learn Evolved Claws, increasing the range of his basic attacks and Taste Their Fear. Additionally, Evolved Claws cause Taste Their Fear to deal further bonus damage to isolated targets based on their missing health. I recommend both maxing and evolving Taste Their Fear as soon as possible in order to quickly assassinate enemy champions. Void Spike fires out and explodes in the first enemy it hits, damaging all surrounding foes. If Kha'Zix is within the explosion, he is also healed. Evolved Spike Wraps will cause Kha'Zix to fire 3 sets of spikes in a cone. These Void Spikes are now able to apply as passive Unseen Threat, dealing further damage and slowing all enemies' hits. Take Void Spike at level 1, and max it primarily if you need extra health sustained to survive a tough lane or the jungle. Evolve it if you're looking for the extra farming and chasing potential by applying Unseen Threat. Leap makes Kha'Zix jump to a nearby target area, damaging all enemies he lands near. With Evolved Wings, Leap's range is great. Take the point early, but I would generally recommend maxing it last. However, evolving it will greatly help you get into fights and continue chasing as your enemies fall. Void Assault learns Evolved Active Camouflage. He may cast Void Assault a 3rd time and takes reduced damage while stealth. Absolutely take points in Void Assault whenever possible to access more evolutions. Choose Evolved Active Camouflage if you're looking for a larger impact in team fights, providing increased durability and slipperiness. When jungling as Kha'Zix, remember that neutral monsters can be isolated from other neutral monsters. So when taking on tough monster camps, kill off the weakest ones first, allowing Taste Their Fear to hit the biggest one for bonus damage. Kha'Zix can easily gank from the jungle, as Leap will put you into range to first land a basic attack for Unseen Threat. Then, wait until your opponent is isolated from his minions for Taste Their Fear. After Kha'Zix forces Malzahar's Flash, he simply waits in the brush to come out again, landing the exact same combo by leaping in for Unseen Threat, followed by Void Spike and Taste Their Fear for the kill. Because the dragon can never have other neutral monsters nearby, it will always be isolated for Taste Their Fear. Because of this, Kha'Zix is exceptional at killing and takes out the dragon quite easily. When playing as a solo laner, constantly look for openings to strike. Taste Their Fear into a basic attack nets him easy harassed. Kha'Zix jumps into the brush to re-trigger Unseen Threat and dives back in. He lands it with a basic attack again and follows up with Taste Their Fear and Void Spike. Upon reaching level 3, Leap enables easily engage for a kill. A basic attack with Unseen Threat and Void Spike opens the fight. Kha'Zix waits for a second and then activates Void Assault, which deals significant damage as it reactivates Unseen Threat, and puts Leap to dodge Rumble's ultimate, picking up the kill and surviving. Evolving Active Camouflage is awesome when diving enemies near their turrets. Watch as Kha'Zix times Void Assault right before turret shots land, blocking a large portion of the damage while fighting Misfortune and while escaping after the kill. Initially, Evolved Spike Wraps makes harassment easy, as Void Spike will apply Unseen Threat every time he pokes. However, Kha'Zix gets greedy. He tries to open in onto Misfortune using Void Assault and Leap. While Kha'Zix deals some great initial damage with Taste Their Fear and basic attacks, the enemy turret prevents Void Assault from really saving him from counterattacks, and he falls quickly. Instead, use your mobility to find squishy enemies out in the open. Using Void Assault, Kha'Zix gets the drop on Misfortune, killing her with Leap and Taste Their Fear, following up onto Morgana and forcing her down as well. I recommend building Kha'Zix for all-out physical damage while almost ignoring durability, relying on stealth and quick movements for survival instead. Here's an example build. Take attack damage marks, armor seals, magic resist per level glyphs, and attack damage quintessences. Run 21-9-0 Mastery, taking physical damage increases in offense with added armor and health in defense. When jungling, always take Smite. Outside of that, consider Ignite for champion killing, Exhaust to lock down and chase your prey, and Flash for increased mobility. Open with Boots of Speed and Health Potions, plus a few quick Doran's Blaze. Your first major purchases will be Brutalizer and Bloodthirster for heavily increased burst damage when assassinating your foes. From here, choose upgraded boots. Ninja Tabi or Mercury Treads will help you survive, while Boots of Mobility will help you assassinate.
Despite there being an extra tick to the ramp-up time, the damage sustained, the reason you take it with bruises, HP stackers, and so on, still holds true, and this can be the same for any assassin that you're playing, Rengar in particular as well. A lot of the variation in the rune sets affects not only your game plan, but also how you itemize. So I don't really want to repeat everything in that particular style. I will leave that link for you below. But suffice it to say, yes, you can still go Conqueror, yes, you can still go Cleaver into Duskblade, and yes, you can still afford to evolve R first. However, welcome to the new world where basically everyone in Korea is evolving Q first and going different sorts of rune sets. And a lot of the shifts depending on what kind of playstyle you want to accomplish, so each of our games will have a different scenario. And the first game we'll talk about is the most quote-unquote normal. He's against a Kayn, however this time as you'll see on screen, he is running Phase Rush. With added damage doesn't necessarily mean you need to add more damage with your runes, it means you can actually go into other areas to shore weaknesses or add a new dynamic. Again, Agurin and many other Korean Kha'Zixes in the past have run Phase Rush, just not currently in the past year. However, that rune is basically immensely popular, Nimbus Club is almost disgusting, Celerity makes you go zoom zoom, and water walking is like being a duck on water. The secondary page also allows you then to keep sudden impact and Ravenous, add some attack speed for your clears to shore up that lack of DPS. And as you see in terms of first clears, there are many options, we will look at multiple different ones in this video. Now a classic assassin fantasy, through Kha'Zix especially, is getting 3 or 4 camps into some sort of impact. With Evelynn and other sort of farming assassins, yes, you can afford to scale, yes, you can afford to farm, but ideally we want leads. This means a simple blue side into 1 camp clear is enough to go body gank. You kind of want your bottom lane to get ahead, you have a Sejuani, nice CC stacking, it's a very gankable lane. And when you look around your map while you're clearing, as you should always be, see which lanes are in prime position for ganking, be ready to change your approach. However, in this case, of course, enemy bottom lane is pushing, Kha'Zix heads down there and can now do a nice cleanup gank. Now the thing is, in these kinds of situations, being able to use Flash to get Nimbus proc, use your damage, get Phase Rush, it means as a champion without CC, you can afford to stick to targets. However, please in your mind track where the enemy jungler is, because if Kayn shows up through the wall, as he always does, well then you die. Don't overcommit, take your win, know you can always farm, you have the scalability, and that's the thing about assassins, yes, you want to play aggressively, intelligently, and you are an omnivore jungler, which means you do scale, and early mistakes aren't too punishing, except you know Kayn is his own late game nightmare. Right, respawn, make sure you head to the other side crab, you know Kayn wouldn't have secured that already, don't farm, get that first. If there's an opportunistic gank in mid lane or top lane, adjust your pathing and clean up. The Phase Rush proc means that even though Akali TPs, well guess what, we can run away. And one that can scrap, fight, and get late game forms. Their farm sequencing can be very predictable, something that you already were going to be because they just farm much faster than you. But here's the power of assassins, Kha'Zix, and it doesn't matter what rune you're taking, counter ganks and clean up ganks. Now fortunately LeBlanc is helped out, they all survived 1 HP, well, you missed out on a triple kill. So make sure you're adhering to this good practice, counter gank these full well the Kayn's gonna go topside, and you will watch him do that while he gets a very nice gank off. You as Kha'Zix now have the option of opening up the field and controlling the tempo of the game. Could go blue side, could do the Herald. Could go bot side to do your red and maybe a dragon. However, if you're going to do that, it's a very good idea to use lane ganks. Assassins like Kha'Zix, Rengar, and Evelynn all have this level 6 camo spike, and almost always they don't use a lane gank like this Kha'Zix does here. If you have CC in the mid lane, let's just ult in through the tower. It avoids vision, you don't show, it's quicker, and because Kayn is on the top side and you did evolve Q, you get the reset on the cooldown versus isolated targets, and so farming and taking monsters is very easy. Now here it's most likely he will take Herald as a counterplay and take your whole blue side, so you should do the same thing in Kayn and then reset. The concept of resetting as an assassin is very huge, purely because you scale so disgustingly well with items. Too many times the Kha'Zix will be really giga fed, sit around stroking their antennas and trying to get more and more kills, sitting a 1, 2, 3k gold, and I see it all the time in coaching. Now to this point, a lot of Kha'Zix players, those that particularly like the R evolve style, you can of course still do it, is because even if you're passive pre-6, once you get to 6 and post-6, you really want to look to be active if you were going Harvest R of the map. The thing is that rune set and evolve choice is sort of forcing you into a playstyle that's good for almost any assassin as long as you do it correctly. Now in this case, we knew that Kayn was top side, took Herald, took all his stuff, he has to go bottom side. Now because we are fed as Kha'Zix, and you know Kayn is going to be heading down to the bottom lane before he shows. And as you can see, look at the mobility provided by Nimbus Cloak, as well as the movement speed